Mr. Rob Skarzynski, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Dev.
Obviously, when you look at rail, I think one of the greatest challenges is the dynamic between freight and passenger systems, right? Freight owns the track. We talk about all these amazing passenger ideas, but how do you really get the passenger trains onto that freight track?
I mean, the thing is, it's all driven by quarterly profit. And it's amazing that they can even get their operating costs below 60. Like, it used to be good to get 80 cents on, and now it's in the 50s. Like, unbelievable, right? So obviously there's money there that could be maybe reinvested into making a better network.
Tell me a little bit more about what you guys are doing at Standard Rail.
And if you have a job and you're trying to manage your supply chain or your commodity and you're moving from A to B, if something comes up, you don't have time for it a lot of the cases, right? But that's what we do every day. It's just making it easier for the shippers, making it easier for the suppliers to find that market, and then just facilitating those transactions.
I mean, if you had to describe sort of your average rail customer and what would be some of those challenges that they face on a daily basis and why they would come to you guys, what does that look like?
Railcar storage, for example, right? So our average customer, it would be a shipper. Typically, when you have your fleet, you need more cars than you actually need because, you got to put them to work. But if that railroad speeds up, for example, and now that the cycle times are faster, you don't need as many cars, right? But now you don't have space on your property to park those cars. That's where we kind of step in on the railcar storage front, where you just connect the dots and find a perfect facility match for the shipper who's trying to move those products along their route. The last 25 years, the whole industry is new because it's all going private. Prior to that, CN before 1995 was owned by the government. They owned all the cars.
Yeah.
100% of the cars, except for the tank cars, were basically managed and owned by railroads. They got out of that business. They just want to hook and haul. So now there's been leasing companies that have really risen up. Other people own cars. So if you're a shipper, you can't just rely on system cars or cars from the railroad when you need them. You need reliability, so you have to have your own fleet. So you're either buying cars or you're leasing cars.
The same way, I mean, if you're trying to ship something by truck, it's not your responsibility to also know how to drive a truck, to also know how to buy a truck. There's so many aspects like that you just wouldn't expect to need to know. But in rail, it's obviously a little bit different, where there is some knowledge required in order to be able to operate just a rail-served facility.
You look at the railroad industry, the last 25 years, the whole industry is new because it's all going private.
Obviously, this looks a little bit different than a diesel shop, a little bit different than trains. What are we doing out here? I know you started in rail, but now you're working your way over to the world of planes.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in aviation, so just really passionate about supply chain and fixing issues, like actual critical issues that Canada has. And this is a good opportunity. It's an excellent industry. It's great people. And honestly, who doesn't want to be around private jets?
What do you like most about the planes? What did you like most about the trains?
Planes are just so cool. Who doesn't want to be around a plane? It gets everyone really excited. It makes people dream and imagine, right? So I think it stretches people's just their capacity, right? They think a little bit bigger with planes. Trains, there's something about the power of moving that much and how efficient it is, and it's actually more eco-friendly than trucking, and it's the sheer power of the industry is so impressive, and the history from the 1800s all the way to today. Like, how did they build the railroad? How did they get through the Shield, right? The Canadian Shield, or how did they get through the Rockies? The railroad brought Canada together at one point. So I'm just inspired. I'm inspired by that industry. I'm inspired by aviation. It makes you dream a little bit more, makes you look to the skies.